It's time for Your Lane with Coach Trish Hanna.
Yeah, it's time to empower, educate, and encourage your women to motivate you through whatever you've been going through. We can talk about it. We ain't passing no judgment. So don't be ashamed. It's all the same. Stay in your lane. Your lane. It's whatever your real life looks like. Stay in your lane. Come out the dark and don't be ashamed. Your lane. Let's have a conversation on what we face every day. Tune into Your Lane Talk Show. It makes us feel good just to know we're not alone. No more will we feel isolated and cast aside. I want you to come out the dark. Just don't be afraid of your heart. So don't be ashamed. It's all the same. Stay in your lane. Your lane. It's whatever your real life looks like. Stay in your lane. Come out the dark and don't be ashamed. Your lane. Let's have a conversation on what we face every day. It's Your Lane Talk Show with Coach Trish Hanna.
Hello. I started off wrong. Hello, everyone. Happy Sunday. Welcome to Your Lane Talk Show. This is your girl, Coach Trish Hanna here, broadcasting live from the beautiful Nassau, Bahamas. It's so good to be in your company on this wet Sunday. First-time listeners, I want to thank you and welcome you to the show. Your Lane Talk Show was created to educate, encourage, and empower women of all ages. I would also like to honor our male listeners who have been tuning in. We do salute you on Your Lane Talk Show. Thank you for tuning in. And I pray that you continue to tune in and be encouraged, empowered, and educated on this show. Last Sunday with episode 85, we had hosted the show Breaking the Chains of Unforgiveness with Coach Stephanie Kenton. Oh my, that was one show. That was a heavy show. One of which people who may have thought that they had forgiven things of the past, and it so happened that Coach Stephanie had a way of allowing us to really delve down into our hearts to see whether or not, we truly have forgiven that individual. And some signs, of course, is whenever that person, somebody speaks of that person, or you see something that reminds you or triggers you, then you know that, hey, that unforgiveness is still lingering there somewhere, and there's still some heart surgery that has to be done in reference to forgiveness on that account. And so I would encourage you to go ahead and go to YouTube, look up Coach Trish Hanna to listen to the episode 85. While you're there, please like and subscribe. And I'm most certain what is so profound, really, is the prayer that she prayed at the end to help with restoration and empowerment for forgiveness. Okay. Now, before we start the show, yes, the show is exactly what we said it would have been, insights into the life of a pastor's wife. But we have with us in studio, before we start, Dr. Sharon Neely, and she's the proprietor of Fabulous Ronnie Hair Restoration Clinic. And I'd like to welcome her. See if you can get her on the screen for me. Dr. Sharon, thank you so much for being a part of Your Lane Talk Show today.
Thank you so much for the invite. It's a delight to be here.
It's a delight to have you. So I just want to make sure that we get you on, because we want to help those in the listening audience who suffer from hair loss and hair concerns. I've noticed, and I've been following you for a very long time. In fact, this is the second time on the show, and I've seen the growth of people who have been following you and your products, and I've been using your products as well. And so far, I'm proud to actually have you on here and to talk about what it is that you have to offer. But I want us to know, if you can tell us, what are some common causes of hair loss that you've seen here in the country, and how can individuals identify the root cause of their specific hair concerns?
That's an excellent question. One of a very common issue that I would see on a day-to-day basis is traction, of course, traction alopecia. And I guess the reason why that is so much, the reason why I would see that so much, Trish, is because, again, you have a whole lot of, grassroots stylists.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, we are a very talented country.
Mm-hmm.
We have a lot of talent in our country, and I'm very
Mm-hmm.
proud to even say that.
Mm-hmm.
And so most times when, of course, again, because of, I wouldn't say some kind words, softer words. That's what I'm kind of feeling.
Listen to me. Listen. This is
More
this.
affordable. That's the word I'm looking
Okay.
for. Affordable pricing. You said your sister or your friend say, you know what, let me do something for you, and
Doc
you
acting
get
too
the
nice. She acting too nice.
yeah. Well, I
This is
try
a
to be
transparent
decent.
show,
I'm trying to
sis.
be extra
No,
decent.
you need to be real.
Yeah,
Go
real,
ahead.
real is it. Real is it. And of course, you would seek affordable services.
Yes.
And again, the traction, the tight braids, the tight weaves, the
Yes.
tight crochet,
Yes.
and knowing most times the hair cannot, the hair cannot deal with the tension,
Mm-hmm.
and it would actually pull out the hair. Trisha would pull it out, and once you see, sometimes even when the hair is pulled out, I have a lot of clients say, well, doc, my hair always grow back.
Mm-hmm.
But then I noticed this time it didn't grow back, or it's taken longer to grow back.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that you consistently do so much, it would obviously break down, the foundation. And so you have to be very careful of a whole lot of the styles that persons
Wow.
choose to put into the hair.
And can you share some of the effective hair restoration treatments and techniques that have shown results to your clients? Like, can you name some of the things for traction? So if somebody was to come to you to say, okay, yes, I've seen where I've been braiding my hair too much and it's been pulling, and I'm coming to you today, what can you give me to help restore this?
Our starting point is, of course, I would recommend a hair consultation because there's not a cookie cutter formula for, the masses. It's not a cookie
Wow.
cutter formula. So
Okay.
the first thing I would automatically recommend is the consultation. And having a consultation, I would then customize a treatment plan specifically for you.
Mm-hmm.
And so what may be good for you may not be good for Jane Doe. But Trish, we have over 31 different all natural treatments that
Come on.
we have a lab at the back of the clinic, and we make all of our treatments. We make our shampoo, conditioners. We have 31 amazing treatments such as lemongrass. We have soursop treatment, peppermint rush. We have coffee treatments. And after having a consultation, I would know exactly what you may be allergic to. And so again, the sensitivity.
That's that. Yeah.
And again, we would also, find out a whole lot of details that are very much important that sometimes it can be really overlooked.
Yeah.
That is vital again to carry you to.
Tell me some. I'm excited to know about this coffee treatment.
Yeah.
I've never heard people putting coffee in their hair.
Coffee is
Come tell me.
It's
Tell me about this. What does it do?
It revitalizes the hair the same way you drink that coffee in the morning and how that give you a boost. That actually does the same thing to the hair.
Wow.
And so most times, especially now, most persons it may not be, suitable for, but for persons that it is suitable for, it would literally cause the hair to become alive, especially dry, brittle, dull hair. The hair would wake up the same way you take the coffee, Trish.
Yeah.
It would literally wake up there. And again, it makes the hair super, super soft. We also have rice water, which is really popular.
Rice water, yeah.
Of course, that's like a DIY. A lot of persons do a DIY, but we have the commercial grade rice water, and it's just a light, gentle protein. So at the hair restoration clinic, based on the individual and the needs, we customize each treatment for that particular individual, and that speaks volume, especially for the clients.
I love that. So what do you feel to be some practical and achievable tips for maintaining healthy hair on a day-to-day basis?
Just have a regimen, especially if you have a hair care routine. It's very important. Sometimes persons keep their hair a little too longer than expected. 8 weeks is no. Normally the appropriate time frame would be 6 weeks. And for whatever reason, I guess, just penny pinching, which is fine, even if you extend it to 8 weeks, and you do take it out, you'd want to give your hair a nice wash treat and let it air. And so, again, to have a proper hair care routine is very much important, to know exactly what your hair can take from what your hair cannot take. Most times, stressed persons come to me with I mean, the hair is so weak and vulnerable, and the things that they would want to put their hair through,
Mhm.
it isn't fair on the hair. It isn't fair. But again, sometimes too, persons they take advantage of the hair. Persons, I don't believe in my field of practice that people really appreciate the hair until it really gone. Like until when it's
No.
gone, it's like whatever I could take, whatever it is to do,
Give me whatever you can do.
give me
Do
whatever. And then
Yeah.
they got to be a microwave fixes.
Mhm.
They don't want it.
No,
The
they don't want
patience
to
and
wait.
no.
Mhm.
But then again, while you have it, appreciate it. Take care of it. I reference hair to a woman every single thing. Trish, this is my personal reference.
Mhm.
Everything that a woman likes, I reference. May it be on a child, a man head, or a woman head.
Mhm.
Hair to me is like a woman. Any woman like attention. Hair likes attention.
Yes.
Woman likes to be treated soft and gentle. Same way
Yes.
hair likes to be
Woman
treated.
like food.
Oh yeah, you gotta feed the hair, of
Oh.
course, and good food
Mhm.
too.
Mhm.
How about that, right?
Okay.
And so everything that woman likes, reference it to hair.
Yeah.
And so if you see you keep that wig on 6 months and never ever ever let her out, what you think will happen? You being a
Oh.
female, what will happen?
Child,
You'll be
yeah,
very
child.
bashful at some point,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And so the hair again, kind of it hair personalities. You have
Yeah.
bashful hair, you have friendly hair, you have hair have a personality as well. Hair, you might be a naturally friendly person, you
Mhm.
in nature, but your hair might be extremely bashful. Let's say, I don't like water, I don't like products, I don't like the sun, and I don't want to feel air.
Mhm.
And so again, understanding and learning your hair is so important. And we at the Restoration Hair Clinic, we would like to, you know, introduce you to the head, the hair
Mhm.
which you've had on your head all your life. A lot of people do not know what's on their head.
Yeah.
A lot. A
Yeah.
lot of people have never seen their natural face without any extensions, without any units. And sometimes when they do see what is on top of their head, they can't even recognize their face. It's like, who is that person?
Wow.
Where's my unit? Where's my wig?
Child, I sound like one of them. But I leave my hair out when I'm at home, and then I just throw this. Man, I don't know if that's laziness or, but that's another story for another day. But I've noticed though, even with my daughter, I've seen her hair change at least twice since she's been swimming. And I think the last time you were
Let's
here,
talk about
we were
that.
talking about swimming and what the chlorine has done to her hair, and it is changed it from like I trying to figure out what child it is, where she come from, because I remember having all of them.
The
It's
color especially,
the
right?
color has changed
Yeah.
definitely, but I've seen a tremendous difference when she actually came to you all
Mm.
for the treatment,
I
and
appreciate
the
that.
hair is softer, it's
Mm.
more manageable, and I've been using I think the
The
oil
moisturizing the
the
oil.
oil I've been using it at the tips of her hair, so
Awesome.
it's the maintenance is better for me now in that short period of time. We've only been there for
Love it.
what
I
it was for
love it.
two
I
weeks
love it.
already,
There you
and I've
go.
already seen the difference. So yeah, so I can say yes, I've tried the products, all right, and I've seen the big difference. Now I don't have to come back for shampoo and conditioner from y'all
Yes, we
and
have
treatment and things.
a full line, Trish. We have a shampoo, restoration conditioner, treatment. Even if you don't want to come into the clinic, we have products that you could use in the privacy of your own home.
Mm-hmm.
And again, we could even coach you to, even put you on a schedule plan on what you should do, what you should not do. Even we
Mm-hmm.
ask persons to send pictures. The pictures are very much private and confidential, of course, when we see them. And we'd better be able to advise you on what you should do. A lot of persons hide underneath the unit. I myself wear units. I love units,
Mm-hmm.
but again, you don't want to be incarcerated in the
Too
unit.
much. Yeah.
No, you don't want to be trapped. A
Yeah.
lot of persons are trapped in under those camps. Whereas if on a given day, if you'd want to be to a point where, as you say, I don't want to wear a unit today. I want to wear my natural hair today.
That's what I can do. I'm not wearing my unit today. Let me take this off. Y'all give me a second. Not today.
Not today.
All right. No, but so tell us then how for persons who would want to come to you for consultation,
Mhm.
how can you be reached and where are you located, your phone contacts, etc.
We are located East Bay Street. We are located Bay Street and Elizabeth Avenue.
Mm-hmm.
The phone contact is 364-0517. 364-0517. That's also a WhatsApp contact as well on landline, or 565-0228.
All right.
We go by appointments, and again, the environment's very comfortable, clean, private, and we respect. Again, we respect. Privacy is a big deal for us.
And I can vouch for that too. I've seen that you have a lot of curtains
A lot
in
of curtains.
different areas, even to wash
Privacy
your hair.
screenings.
There's privacy there. There's privacy to get the hair done. So even if you suffer from hair loss with alopecia, no matter, because I've seen some pictures on the internet with people with alopecia, and it's quite embarrassing, especially for those going into various beauty salons where people staring at you. You understand, because they see, okay, what's going on. It's a beautiful woman, but she has patches here, and you want to be somewhere where you could feel confident when you go in and when you come out, right? So I recommend going to Fabulous Ronnie. Of course, can you recite your number once again, or your Facebook or social media account?
Facebook, it's Fabulous Ronnie Hair Restoration Clinic, or Fab Ronnie. Telephone contact 364-0517, 364-0517, or 565-0228. Instagram is Fabulous Ronnie 242.
Someone says she works with your budget also. Such a pleasant lady.
Oh,
yes, she is
much.
pleasant. Listen, and she is, when I tell you, headstrong when it comes to customer service. I can also vouch for that. All right.
That.
Honestly. And I'm not just saying this. Now, I would say, no, y'all know this is a transparent show. All right. Now, customer service, she's on par, she's on key, she's in tune with her clients. And so I would definitely recommend you. And also, can you also share, you do cater to men as well, right?
We cater to men, women, and children.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And so, again, we go by appointments. Time is a big factor. Of course, time is money.
Yeah.
And so we go by appointments. No need to wait. And we are ready. We are ready to be a part of, your hair care journey.
Come on.
Yeah, we're ready. We're ready.
So listen, if you want to get your hair ready and intact this year, that's one of your goals. To ensure that you get your hair growing back. You want to see a little bit of bristle sprouts coming out from the scalp. Go right ahead and visit. Look at my producer. Yeah, he got more hair on his face than he have on his head, but that's all right. That's all right. He can be the first one there tomorrow, I promise you. All right. But thank you so much, Dr. Sharon, for being a part of us. Any last minute things that you want to share to the audience, with the audience before we leave?
We have an amazing staff there, welcoming, and so we're just a phone call away. Most persons, they would kind of procrastinate to say, you know what, I'll do it next month, or now isn't the time. I would advise you, now is the time. The earlier you deal with the situation, the quicker you'll see results.
Yes.
And so don't wait. Now is the time.
Now is the time. She sounds like a politician, eh? All right. Thank you, Dr. Sharon. We're going to actually take a break. No? Okay, fine. Our producer say, no, don't let her talk some more. Let her talk some more then. Okay, all right. So we're going to go ahead and I don't know why he still wants me to talk, because we need to go right ahead and go into our next thing. All right, so let me go into a live read for you. Before we let Dr. Sharon go, ladies and gentlemen, if you're not sharing, go ahead and share the page. It's time to share the page. Our guest today graciously opens the door to a world of faith, service, and community, giving us insights into the joys, challenges, and unique experiences that come with being a partner to everyone devoted to guiding a congregation. As we embark on this journey, we invite you to listen with an open heart as we explore the passions, the struggles, and the beautiful moments that define the life of a pastor's wife. So if you know a minister's wife or any wife whose husband holds a prominent position, call them and tell them to tune in to Star 106.5 FM dial, channel 976 on cable, or log on to Facebook on Your Lane Life Coaching Facebook page to watch us live. My predictions for this episode today, I would say 80% aha moments, 0% teardrops. I don't think anyone's crying today. 20% laughter because of the people who I have. My crew here, I may even increase to 70% aha moments, 30% laughter, because who our audience consists of. Today is going to be an awesome show. It's Your Lane episode 86. Insights into the life of a pastor's wife is brought to you by The Perfume Bar, John Shoe Store and Accessories, Your Lane Life Coaching, Fabulous Ronnie Hair Restoration Clinic, Mac Joe's Cookies, Treats, and Sweets, and Dairy Queen, Bahamas. Make this Valentine's Day extra sweet with Dairy Queen. Enter to win a romantic dinner for two, a complimentary makeup session, and a visit to the hair salon. Just make a purchase of $10 or more at any of Dairy Queen locations. Write your name on the back of your receipt, place your receipt into the Eat Your Heart Out box, and wait for your name to be announced on February 7th. I pray that whoever gets this, y'all remember me, eh? Remember me. All right. Now we're gonna get straight into it. Look at the beautiful ladies. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. We're just waiting for one more seat. We're just waiting for one more seat so that we can get them on. And so just as they are preparing, let me start with their bios. We have three beautiful, beautiful, beautiful guests in studio today. With a mantra to raise up leaders, Minister Deanne has served the Church of God of Prophecy as the co-director for youth ministries for the Bahamas and the English-speaking Caribbean. Like Esther, called into the kingdom for such a time as this, the Lord has afforded Minister Deanne divine opportunities to minister to hurting girls and women throughout the Bahamas, the United States, Canada, the Caribbean, and the Soviet Union. Though continuously busy seeking new ways to promote the kingdom and elevate the body of Christ, Minister Deanne is committed to perfecting the term helpmeet to her husband, Pastor Tim, who serves as the lead pastor at the Church of God of Prophecy, Blue Hill Road, Nassau, while co-parenting their beautiful and anointed daughter. Yeah, I favor him. Mia. From our next guest from in her mother's womb, Kenva Cleopatra, all the government name, was proclaimed prophetically as a gift to the body of Christ, born for a unique purpose to John Lee and Carnetta Ferguson. Cleo, as she is affectionately called, developed leadership abilities at an early age. After completion of a bachelor's degree in business administration and education, Pastor Cleo was employed as a trained teacher with the Ministry of Education in the discipline of mathematics and business for 6 years at the Cleveland C.V. Bethel Senior High School. She currently serves as executive pastor of Life Changers Ministries International, a progressive house founded in Ezekiel 34. Pastor Cleo is the chief ministry officer and administrator for the ministry located on Bacardi Road. She's the mother of 3 and the wife to Apostle Valentino Williams. Our third guest is Pastor Olivia Wells, the fourth of 6 children, and she was raised by her mom in a broken home. At the tender age of 21, she married her husband of 32 years, Apostle Raymond Wells. In May 1998, led by God, she co-founded Living Waters Kingdom Ministries, and later they established Fountain of Life Kingdom Ministries in Eleuthera and Rehoboth Kingdom Ministries in Exuma. They are also the founders of In It to Win It, a ministry for building healthy marriages and relationships. Pastor Olivia is the founder of G5, Grounded Girls Giving God Glory, which focuses on helping women understand their identity, self-worth, and to appreciate her personal values. Together, they are the happy parents of 2 daughters, 2 sons, and 1 beautiful granddaughter, and she sure is beautiful. All right, so I want to welcome our guests. Welcome, Pastor Cleo. Welcome, Minister Deanne, and welcome, Pastor Olivia. Thank you so much for tuning in to Your Lane, being a part of Your Lane talk show today. How are you doing?
Wonderful.
Very good.
It is so wonderful for you to have joined us, and we're excited about what's about to take place today. I'm excited, and I want to start off the show. I don't know if y'all ever seen or heard I'm a pastor's wife, of course, XXXXX, ... No? You've never seen that man? But y'all must be on Facebook more than me. Okay, so let me start it off.
Okay.
I am a law enforcement officer's wife. Of course, I have to be mindful of my surroundings when I'm heading out the house.
Oh, yes.
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 I am a law enforcement officer's wife. Of course, I have to be careful of what I post on Facebook.
Right.
All right, so we're going to start off. We're going to start it off right. Now y'all know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
So who's starting first? Who's the brave soul? Let's go. Pastor D,
I'm
go.
a pastor's wife. Of course, I have to have
a lot of love in my heart.
Oh. Mm. Let's go.
I'm a pastor's wife. Of course, I must always be willing and ready to embrace others.
I love that.
I'm a pastor's wife. Of course, I need to master the art of fixing my face.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Ooh, child, fix that face.
Oh, yeah.
Fix that face. So, ladies, thank you for that. And before we even continue, I am not starting the show unless I reference and honor Pastor Tim Johnson, Apostle Raymond Wells, and Apostle Valentino Williams. Thank you so much, gentlemen, men of the cloth, men of God, anointed pastors I've had an opportunity to listen to each and every one of you, and each and every one of you have been a blessing to me and my family. I also want to take this moment for them to acknowledge their kings of their home. So I'm going to let them do that individually before we go on. You all take your time, because this is what we do on Your Lane. We acknowledge our kings and then letting y'all know in advance. All right. So just about to take a minute. Let's go.
Awesome. Well, the best thing that has happened to
Come
me.
on.
My bishop, my apostle, my Rev.
Oh.
Anyone who knows me knows that I affectionately call him Rev.
Yeah.
Valentino Devon Williams. We've been married for 23 years this July.
Come on.
And it's been an amazing experience.
Yeah.
I tell people all the time, he's Valentino, I'm Cleopatra, with a perfect match.
Perfect match.
Beautiful. I celebrate. I have the P's, my priest, my provider, my protector, and my passionator. Yeah, that
Write
one
that
is
down.
very important.
I
Timothy
need that.
Fitzgerald Johnson. I thank the Lord for 27, and I mean, I don't just say this as cliche, but 27 good years.
Wow.
I believe we were ordained to be together,
Come on.
and it's been a good journey, and I thank God for him allowing me to be who I am
That's it.
whenever I want to be who I am, without restrictions and limitations, because he understands my purpose and why I'm here. And so, honey, if you're listening, I love you a whole lot. Yeah,
She loves
thank
you a whole lot.
a whole lot. Thank you for allowing me to be next to you, because if it wasn't for these kings, we wouldn't be sitting here, because we won't be pastors' wives.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you for allowing me to do that, Lady Liv.
Hey, and the love of my life, Raymond Wells, the apostle of living waters. I love you. I honor you. You're my main man. You were my man all my life, as you know. All my life, you've been my man, my boyfriend. I thank the Lord for you. You make life easy for me, and I appreciate that so much. I appreciate you so much joy. I mean, yeah, what you see from us is what you get.
Yes,
It's like
yes.
a lot of laughter. Of course, my husband is a very serious man, but a very joyful man at the same time. So I thank you for being who you are to me, who you are to God, and who you are to the kingdom of God. I love you forever, dude.
Come on. Now we can begin the show.
Yes.
Now we give honor and respect. Of course, the first thing we did before the ladies were here, we gave honor to God. So I don't want y'all to think that we have our husbands as God. No, they're not. We know order. We know order here. All right, just letting you know. So glory to God. Thank you for that. Now, just what y'all come here for, we're about to talk about that right now. We're going straight in it. What does being a pastor's wife look like? What does being a pastor's wife look like? And then this is personal to you. And then when you've answered that, what I want to know is, was there ever a point when you felt as if this ain't for me? I ain't got out for this. Who's starting first? So whoever wants to go first is fine. I'm not gonna call names, but I can tell you, and y'all know me, I am very transparent, and this is a very transparent show. And this is the reason why not even me, I ain't even giving no credit. Holy Spirit led me to these three ladies right here from last year, before we start, from last year when Apostle Wells was on the show. I said, Apostle, as he was talking, I was like, wonder if I could just do a show with pastors' wives. He said, oh yeah, Oh yeah. Now, Olivia, come right there. Yeah. I say yes, sir. We can make it happen.
So Liv has to start.
So that was it right there. That's all I needed. So y'all know for a fact that someone say, "Help us, Jesus." So y'all know this could be like it could be on today. Someone type, "Help us, Jesus." It could be on. So let's go. This is a deep question, and I want transparency today, ladies. Thank you.
Okay. What does a wife looks like?
What does a pastor's wife look like?
Like a wife.
Mm-hmm.
Right. A pastor's wife looks like a wife.
Let's go.
A woman who has Christ as her head. Her husband is next. A woman who has learned the value of prioritizing, not balancing, with Christ, the head cornerstone, with him first. So, and her husband next. Okay, let me tell you now.
Come
As
on.
a wife, we know that, or we have yet to accept. I've accepted.
Mm-hmm.
Husband, then children, then everything else.
Mm-hmm.
But a pastor's wife is one who lives a sacrificial life.
Mm-hmm.
Like a wife.
Mm-hmm.
You live a sacrificial life. So your life is really, while we would want to think is our own, it's not our own. So we get to give, and we know that it's a life of servanthood, where you serve your husband, you serve the people that God has called you both to lead.
Yeah.
Or if someone to say him to lead and I support. But it's a sacrificial life. We live for Christ, we live for our husband, and we live to be that tower of strength to what God has called him and us to do, because he don't get to do it alone.
Mm-hmm.
We are there with him, for him, all the way. And you said it's personal. So for me, I'm there with him all the way. I'm his biggest supporter forever will be. I get to push him. Once the vision is shared, I get to push him. I'm his supporter. Let's do this. And the crazy thing is we have to trust our husband. If this is what God is saying to you and how he is leading you, let's ride.
Yeah.
Hey y'all, I hope y'all have your pen and paper nearby, because you can't have these three women in here and not take notes. You have to. They're coming in with nuggets. I can tell you in advance, because she's already saying, listen, you have to trust the God in your husband. You can't, and that's what. And guess what? You don't have to be a pastor's wife. You know, this is for any wife who's tuning in right now. Okay, you have to allow your husband to take lead and trust the God in your husband. They're gonna be why talking? I ain't supposed to be talking. Go ahead. Go ahead. So no. But it has this part two of the question was there ever a time in the process that you want to cut out for that job?
No, for me.
Wow.
No, because my number one priority, and of course I had to learn this, but I was his supporter. Let's go. In fact, I didn't understand the role.
Yeah.
So I didn't go into being a pastor's wife, understanding the role of a pastor's wife. No, I wasn't taught like that. So my husband said, this is what God is saying to me. And as usual, I submitted to what God is saying to him and I followed him. Let's do it. I pushed him. So no, it was never I'm not cut out for this kind of thing.
Wow.
It has to come from your heart.
Yes.
Yeah, it has to be all about your heart. As a Christian, as a woman of God, you know, that makes it a lot easier once you give it to Christ. It makes life a whole lot easier.
You child. DZ looking at me like, I wonder if my wife listening to this. Go ahead.
I believe a pastor's wife is the same as a wife. Because the same principles that you exercise at home, you do at church. He's the head of the house at home. He's the priest. He's the shepherd at church. I'm the go-to for a lot of things at home. I'm the go-to for a lot of things at church. I'm his number one cheerleader at home. I'm the vision carrier at home. I do the same thing at church. The only, the dividing line is very thin. And sometimes for me, they merge because at the end of the day, like Pastor Olivia said, whatever it is that God has told him to do, I'm lining up with that. For me, when I met my husband when we were dating, he was ministering then. And he said to me, you sure you want to do this? Because this is going to change. I'm here now, but this is going to lead to other responsibilities in ministry, maybe pastoring over whatever. And so I had to believe and accept that at the very beginning. And I went through seasons that, first of all, we were youth directors together, and we just did all the fun stuff. And then the responsibilities changed to associate pastor. I was sitting there for 14 years in the observing seat because the lead pastor's wife, she was really the person running the show. And so I was looking, I was observing, I was wondering. And then 8 years ago, it shifted where I became the lead pastor's wife. And so the season then became different because I was more responsible for my congregation. There was an old lady that said to us when we started out, she said, Dee, just love God and love God's people. And so I love God and I love God's people. Is that always easy every day? No, because there's some people that can be unlovable at times, just like at home. Sometimes you don't like the things your husband or your kids may do. So you have those same scenarios. There was never a time when I said, no, this is not for me, because from the very beginning, I knew this was something that I was going to go. And as the seasons changed, I just gracefully rose to the occasion, because the seasons previously prepared me from where I'm at today. So now I'm no longer on the sideline observing like I did as an associate pastor, but now I'm the one that has to mentor. Like on Friday coming, I'm going to have about 10 young women come to my house and we're going to do cooking lessons.
Wow.
So that kind of stuff I didn't do before, but now, because, whatever it takes to get the kingdom mandate carried out in Blue Hill Road or wherever he is going to pastor, Sister D got to be in place to make sure that it happens.
I love that. I love that. Can we take one more, or we have to take a break? One more, good. All right, so Pastor Cleo, what does being a pastor's wife look like?
What it looks like today, it didn't look like 20 years ago.
Come on.
So that the look of that has changed over the last 20 years, just like how we've changed. Our physical selves,
Yes.
our emotions, we've changed and gone through phases. And so I want to answer that with what it looks like today.
Okay.
Right? Today, it looks like I serve at the pleasure of my bishop.
Yeah.
Which means whatever it takes to ensure that I am Azar to him, whatever is necessary to be the kind of support that he needs, I take that role on. I serve at the pleasure of my bishop. That phrase and that statement has helped me even in moments when it was perhaps not desirable to do something or go somewhere.
Yeah.
So I postured myself with that same phrase, and that phrase has almost been a net for me. I serve at the pleasure of my bishop.
Yeah.
So if he asks for whatever, I serve at his pleasure. That statement also creates a level of submission because I am not the visionaire. So I serve at his pleasure.
Yes.
So I've seen different models of pastors' wives. I've seen the model of the first lady. I've seen the model of the pastor's wife. I've seen the model of the prophet, pastor's wife. We have so many divergent models that's out there. And I made up in my mind, and I'm taking you back now to 20 years ago, I made up in my mind, rather than trying to find a model that can mentor what I was becoming, I kind of abandoned everything I saw and allowed God to create the framework, because none of our husbands are alike.
No.
And so us trying to mentor other pastors' wives could be frustrating to the pastor because we're busy duplicating something that we saw, right? And so I abandoned all of that 20 years ago so that I can be postured to serve at his pleasure. Did I get it all right all the time? Absolutely not. Did I agree with everything while it was going on? Absolutely not. But everything, I learned a long time ago that God wastes nothing.
Nothing.
So every experience, and I agree with the other ladies on the panel today, I don't know if I subscribe to there being a difference between a pastor's wife and a regular wife, because I believe every husband is called to pastor.
Come on.
Every husband has a garden.
Come on.
Whether that garden is a church, whether that garden is the Royal Bahamas Police Force, whether that garden is in the studio, every husband is a pastor. Pastor is a shepherd,
Yes.
a leader.
Yes.
So if you are a husband, housebound,
Yes.
it means that you are a leader, even if your congregation is one.
Yes.
Yeah.
You are a leader.
You are a leader.
So every wife, whether it's a pastor's wife, politician's wife, policeman's wife, whatever it is, everyone serves the role according to that garden.
Yes.
And whatever that garden is, we should be postured to be Azar,
Yes.
which was who Eve was, created to be a helpmeet, serving at the pleasure
Yes.
to ensure that that garden is at optimum productivity. And that's what that looks like for me. So sometimes that pleasure looks like cook. That pleasure looks like preacher.
Mhm.
That pleasure looks like someone who runs with the vision. That pleasure looks like creative. That pleasure can change. Sometimes 26 different times in an hour.
Mhm.
That pleasure can look so different. So what helps me to be a pastor's wife is being as fluid and as flexible as necessary to ensure that our garden flourishes.
I love it.
That's
I
good.
love it. That is juice right there. Give me 1 second before that break. Was there ever a time that you felt as if you were not cut out for it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't know if not feeling cut out for it was what it was. I was deathly afraid. Deathly afraid. When my husband got the call
Yeah.
to pastor, this was October 15th,
Mhm.
I think it was 2001. He got the call from God, woke up and was very, very passionate about what it was that he saw, felt, heard. I got deathly afraid because I was newly married.
Yeah.
I was 23 years old, I think, at the time. And I'm thinking to myself, why in the world would a newlywed with a newborn baby, a new career, all of these new things, why church now? Because everything I saw regarding the pastors' wives was nothing admirable. The pastors' wives were sad. They were sulky. They were unhappy, poorly kept, trapped in this illusion
Woo.
of what people
Yeah.
thought a pastor's wife should look like: long gown, deep hat,
Yeah.
dry face.
Dry
Dry
face.
face.
My hair is brick red. sitting up
Okay.
in
All
here.
right.
I felt as if this could
Yeah.
not happen.
Yes.
And so what I felt, not so much whether I was cut out for it, I felt deathly afraid that I was getting ready to lose everything I'd worked so hard to gain. Yeah. 23 years old. I'm just getting the freedom of being an adult, a
Yeah.
woman, an educator. And so here he comes with this grandeur announcement. God has called me to pastor a church. And that's what gripped me. I don't want God to take anything from me. And so for the first maybe 3 years of ministry, I helped, but I helped like this. I didn't give my full self. I helped at a standoff because I felt like the church came to take my family, to take my husband's attention.
Real.
And yeah, this is the
Yeah,
honest
yes.
thing. And I remember the Lord, I had an encounter with God, and he said to me, he says, and I learned this, rather, he didn't say this. I had an encounter with God, and I decided, God, you know what? I'm all in. Whatever this takes, I'm going to be all in, because our call is just as significant as our husbands.
Of course.
Yes.
Of course.
Yeah.
It's just as significant as our husbands. So I received a call of my own 3 years later
Come on.
to now serve at the pleasure of my bishop. And after a while, after about 10, 15 years of really being committed to serving God
Yes.
with the expression of church,
Mhm.
I need to say that again.
Mm-hmm.
When I became committed to serving God with the expression of church,
Mm-hmm.
many of us serve church and we forget about God.
Mhm.
So I learned how to serve God with the expression of church. And I came up with this thing after I thought about my life and what has happened and what I thought I lost. You don't ever lose anything
No.
by serving God.
No. Oh, we're gonna take a break on that one right there, because that one, I need y'all to just see that. You gotta meditate on those three answers, three different answers from three different women, pastors' wives who are first wives, right? Pastors' wives who've been called to serve, whose roles are just as important as their husbands or their kings, their prophets. All right. So we're gonna take a break right quick, and when we come back, we're gonna have some. Now y'all want transparency, right? That's what y'all here for, right? That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna make sure we help those. So once again, if you're a wife and you feel as if your husband may not be in some prominent position, you may feel as if, okay, I'm just a wife. No, you're not just a wife. As Pastor Cleo stated, the matter of fact that he's a leader, he's the headship of your home, All right, so you're still serving, and so you want someone to call someone up, call a pastor, call any wife that you know who will be we know for a fact that will benefit from today's show, so that they can actually be informed, encouraged, and inspired from what these ladies have to say today. All right, so let's take a quick break.
Yeah, because she's on camera every day. Can you slide the check back
To me? You may slide it.
you stay right
Stay.
there.
Okay. That would be better.
Okay.
You could move just Deanne a little bit. When you come toward us, you are.
Right
You
here?
can probably go a little closer to her too.
Me? Go
Yeah.
over.
Gotta fix the frame right there.
Okay.
All right, to my Facebook audience, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for your support. Okay, awesome. Thank you so much for supporting us at Your Lane Talk Show. If you have any questions for our guests today, you can go ahead and type it in, and we will ensure to answer them for you.
You're listening to Your Lane with Coach Trish Hanna.
Yes, you love. Yes, it's no problem. We're back on yet?
Yes.
Okay. Welcome back. For those who just joining
It's a
us,
little low, but I'm good.
we have with us in studio Pastor Cleo Williams, Pastor Olivia Wells, and Minister Deanne Johnson in studio with a show entitled Insights into the Life of a Pastor's Wife. And so if you're tuning in, go ahead, get your note, get your paper, get your pen, because there's going to be a lot of nuggets being shared today. And we're going to go back into our questions. And one of the questions that I want to ask you ladies is, we understand that being a pastor's wife can also come with a lot of challenges, right? Challenges and benefits. All right. So could you share some of the challenges that pastors' wives usually face? And of course, you can share probably one challenge and one benefit you feel as if, and once again, it's personal. So I'm saying pastors' wives, but you can actually be as broad as you can or as precise as you can. All right. So what are some of the challenges that pastors' wives face, and what are some of the benefits you feel as if they receive? I'm going to start calling names now. let me start with Sister Deanne, Minister Deanne. You will go first, followed by Pastor Olivia Wells, followed by Pastor Cleo, and that's how we will do the order, just as such. Okay, thank you.
Challenges, having to share your family with the rest of the world and being able to do a suitable balance. Again, for me, it was a journey. It wasn't something that I was taught how to do. There was no book and there was no course. I had to rely totally on the Lord to give me wisdom. And some days I didn't get it right, because my order is my relationship with God, my relationship with my husband, my relationship with my daughter, and then everybody else comes after that. And so sometimes I got it all wrong, because the order changed, because I was subjected to pressure to please whomever. But over the years, God helped me with that. And I now understand that at the end of the day, anything that challenges my relationship with God, which gives me the power to perform in all those various roles, then I have to kind of rearrange that. The benefits, there are lots of benefits, like there are challenges as well. One of the things that I find very fulfilling and very satisfying is serving God's people. And that can come in various forms. It doesn't even have to be a platform. You know, I love to cook. I love to be in the kitchen all the time. And sometimes, I love it. I cook with an anointing. And so preparing a meal.
Thank God for you. Hallelujah.
That's one of the things I like to do. So preparing, sometimes just they would call after church on Sunday, say, you got any food? And, so when I cook on Sundays, I always have extra, because I just, that brings fulfillment, that brings satisfaction, just being able to serve, being able to help the vision be carried out. When we come out of, whether it be in time of service or impartation or whatever it is, and you can sit down afterwards with your priest and you say, God really came through this time, and I was a part of that. Maybe I was just an usher at the door, whatever. And then the benefits change from week to week, from month to month, from season to season. But one of the things that remains constant is to be able to serve. And I'm not one of those. And I heard Cleo say it, and I wanted to jump in. I'm not the typical. I make no apologies for that. If I have to stand at the front door and help with the ministry of hospitality when the ushers don't show up, I'm okay with that. I don't fit the mold of my hair and my clothing. And, I'm from the Pentecostal church where there are all these images that you shouldn't be. And, Sister D was always kind of like contrary to that mold, because that was one of the things that I love that my husband does. He allows me to be who I am without having to fit into anybody's box or any church's doctrine or whatever. And because of that, I'm not one of those sad-faced, unhappy women that we talked about at the beginning. Right. I do what I do because of me. And so, so the benefits change. And one of the things I look forward to every day is fulfilling the will of God for me, for what God has just destined for me to do. And that has nothing to do with my title at church or my pastor's wife role, because if God says to do something outside of what they're expecting me to do, then I listen to the voice of God and not them. And so it's ongoing. But you don't want to become consumed or resentful because of the challenges, and then it becomes an unhappy place. I like to be in my happy place, and whatever that takes, if it shifts, I do that because I want God to be glorified, with whatever I do. And some days I have to go to bed and say, God, I really made you shame today. Because I didn't do that. But and I say that to him. Me and God have these conversations at night. I made you shame. So give me a chance tomorrow. Don't take me away tonight. Give me a chance tomorrow to get it right for you. And that's what's so sweet about the Holy Spirit. When you do stuff that's out of line, he knocks you right there and say, get it right. Now, do I always walk in obedience? No. Because sometimes I'm a debate with God. They was the one who was doing it to me. Whatever, I'm going back. But he's already told me what it is. I don't need somebody to evaluate me. The Holy Spirit does that regularly on a daily and hourly basis. But don't allow I'll say to the wife that's listening, don't focus on the challenges. See it as an opportunity to grow. Right. All right. Ride the benefits and don't walk with expectations that somebody owes you something they don't. Right.
Absolutely. All right. Let's I love your expression, but let's see if we could wrap it up with like a minute each, because I have a lot of questions for y'all. We didn't get to the juicy part yet. That's okay. I won't get to the juicy part, man. Okay. All right. You notice I trying to tip little piece. I like this ain't the main course yet. So we're gradually getting there. All right. So what one challenge, one benefit for you?
One challenge. So let me use some of my 60 seconds to say this. Please look at her face. Identify the faces here. It's her you call up for dinner after Sunday.
Not me.
It's her you call.
Not me. Not me.
So that's 10 of my
Go center for dinner.
So challenges is really trying to become all to please all. Everyone, that's a major challenge. If you listen to the masses of people, you definitely will not understand or come into your identity, because you will be here, there, and everywhere trying to be everything for everybody. So that's a major challenge that I face. It was never about, it was not about me or what I thought I should be doing or what I feel like God is calling me to do, has called me to do. It's been, okay, what do you want me to do? So the demands from people are going to be different, and it will cause you, the pastor's wife, the first lady, whatever title you carry, to operate out of someone else. People will begin to live through you. Absolutely. If you don't know and understand who you are and who God has called you to be. 20 seconds left here. So benefits, the opportunity to see the transformation of lives, or to assist with the transformation of lives, and to see broken people come into the ministry or wherever you would have met them. And by you taking a moment to speak with them from time to time, or as often as they need, but to see the lives change and transformed because you were up close and a part of it, and to hear the testimonies and the reports. So to be a partaker of the positive change in other people's lives, That's a benefit.
Yeah,
I love that.
That's, yes.
Yes.
So me
Yes.
now, right?
Yes,
Lord
ma'am.
help. Okay, great. So challenge first. You said one challenge.
Yes, please.
I think one challenge that I've had over the last 20 plus years would have been being misunderstood.
Mm.
That is a major one.
I can see that.
Yeah, being misunderstood. You could, I'm sure you can. Being misunderstood because that you're being misunderstood against this perfectionist theory.
Mhm.
People believe because you are first that you should be perfect.
Mm.
They measure it like a race.
Yeah.
Okay, if you came first, it means that you're the best.
Yeah.
No, first does not mean best.
Mhm.
We are first among equals.
Mhm.
So we're leaders,
Mhm.
not necessarily first meaning perfection.
Mhm.
And that perfection is based on other people's experiences
Yeah.
or their bias
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Bias.
And so I would dress a certain way perhaps, and it would not be pastor wife-ish
Mhm.
to some people.
Mhm.
And so that's misunderstood. I am a preacher. I'm an itinerant preacher, and I've had people summarize who I am based on a 20-minute sermon. And the 20-minute sermon pales in comparison to my personality. You have to get to know me.
Of course.
My calling is prophetic,
Mm.
which means that's a sword that comes very, very sharp.
Yes.
But no one loves humor more than I do.
Yeah.
I love me some humor.
Yes.
I love shopping. I love television. I love good food,
Mhm.
all that stuff. But persons sum up who I am based on a 20-minute preaching clip and make a full assumption and full summary of the type of person that I am.
Mhm.
And that misunderstanding has been
Yeah.
super challenging over the last 20 plus years.
Yeah.
Wins for me or benefits is seeing vision come to pass.
Mhm.
And whatever it is that I can do to ensure that vision is accomplished, that's a win for me.
Yes.
Whatever that looks like, whether it's a healed life, a completed project, a building finished, an excellent service, whatever the vision is, making sure that that's done to perfection,
Yeah.
according to what God said. That's where
Mhm.
That's
perfection is.
important.
According to what God said, that's where the win and the benefit is for me.
I love that. I love that. I love the fact that you all had unique answers. Yep, y'all are still agreeing with what each other has to say. So it's similar experiences, which I think is just so beautiful. Now, how do you juggle it all? How do you juggle the children, the grandchild, the personal ministries that you may have, G5, for example, along with the pastor's requests, the congregation's requests, the community's requests? How do you juggle it all? Where's the balance?
I heard TD Jake say something about a decade ago. He said a master juggler is not concerned about all of the balls. They're only concerned about keeping their hand on it long enough to get it back in the air. That has changed my life tremendously. Being a parent, a daughter to parents who would have had a myriad of needs,
Yeah.
From being ill or whatever for a length of time, a husband, a large congregation, my own self. I'm a whole package of personality. My brothers, all of this mattered to me.
Yeah.
And so how do you juggle it all? Keeping your hand on the ball long enough to just get it back in the air. So if one ball is already floating, I don't need to pay attention to that. And being okay with failing at some of them sometimes. There were some days I was an excellent wife, but an F for mommy. There were some days I got an A for being mommy and got an F for being a pastor's wife or leading a congregation. And that was okay for me. Because it means then that when the cycle goes again, just make sure get your hand on that ball you got an F in and get that back in the air. Keep your hand on it long enough. This is how you juggle a whole lot of stuff. Keep your hand on the ball long enough to get that back in the air.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't hear that from TG Jakes, but I would just continue where she's left off. Keeping the ball in the air long enough just says what's important today.
Yes.
Yeah, what's important today, because there is so much that we have to do on a daily basis. I went through a season 2 years ago where I was the primary caregiver for my mom, literally. And so with that, I had to balance that because she needed that care and attention every day.
Yes.
I needed to do that.
Yes.
It meant me having to, I wasn't working anymore in the secular world. Some of the things that I would have done regularly, I put aside. I learned to say no very politely and very graciously. And I had to get up every day and decide, okay, with the 12 hours that I have, or the 14 hours or the 16 hours, some days it meant 23 hours because you got 1 hour sleep.
Yeah.
What's going to take place here? And then there was a list that continued over to the next day. I had to learn to satisfy what I feed. And my relationship with God meant that if there was anything that I didn't have time to pray and to spend time in prayer, I had to catch it. If it meant me neglecting the priest, not the pastor,
Right.
the priest, because that was my priority is to the priest first. Pastor is another role. And my daughter was, at the age where she was becoming the teenager, and all those challenges that came with that. So there was a whole lot of stuff going on. I was in school, but I learned to prioritize what was most important. And there were days when I didn't get it done, and somebody got upset, and I was okay. I was okay with that because I was okay that ball came back down and it hit the floor without me touching it. I was okay with that.
Okay.
Because otherwise you'd be a basket case.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You'd be a basket. You have to know for today. You got 24 hours in today, and that's it. When the days, it's Tuesday, tomorrow's Wednesday. And I'm good now at saying, I'm okay. I'm not going to be what you want me. Yeah.
I love that.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, again, it's about prioritizing.
Yes.
My husband first, children, and everything else after that.
Mhm.
So just making sure my family is straight. And like you, the ball dropped there, and having to pick it up as well, especially with my husband. I think the ball would have dropped more with my husband and the children, because you have to learn that. You have to learn that your husband is before your children. So I had to learn that. That's hard.
Yes.
Hope all of you wives hear that.
Yes.
So other than that, with the ministry and every other assignment, she did that. Every other assignment, you need a strong team.
Yes.
G5 you mentioned.
Yes.
You need a strong team around you that's going to help you carry out the assignment. If the assignment is one that you can carry out alone, then chances are that's not even from God.
Wow.
That's just a dream you have and you try to make it happen alone.
Yeah.
But you have to bring a strong team in every capacity. In our ministries, you need people.
Absolutely.
It's never on God. When he called you, it was never about you.
Yeah.
It was
Not to be
always
alone.
about the people
Yeah.
he's sending your way. He's
Come on.
going to send you, connect you. So prepare, grab yourself, not prepare. Get yourself some strong people that's going to help you juggle this thing called
Come
life and
on.
ministry. You cannot do it alone.
It takes a village.
It takes a
It
village.
takes a village. And I just want to say, I thank God for my village. I have some girls I can call 24/7, say, listen, come, I need you to do this. And they would drop what they're doing. I thank you know who you are. I can't call any names. Thank God for you.
Your village sound like my village. Your friends.
Listen,
my friends,
so
my
let's
sisters,
go there then.
my
Make it happen.
sisters, yeah.
I had a question, and let me go to that then, because I was still going to talk about support system, which is so important. I remember, when I first got married. No, this is like about 7 years into my marriage, when God called me to a ministry called Chosen Wives, and with this, it's still in existence. It's a group of about, I think it's about 7 women now. And, I was called to mentor them, and we branch out. And so it's almost as if we help other people, surprisingly, people from all walks of life as well. And I remember a time when I didn't know who to go to, when I was the one that was going through. And my prayer was always, God, can you show me who I can go to? And then I started questioning, God, who do pastors' wives go to? Who do prominent people? Because it's different. You can't go to any and everybody, especially here in this little small country. Not saying that people can't be trusted, because there are some trustworthy people, but it's just that you have to use wisdom to who you go and you share information with. And it's like, so for those who are in a situation where you have your husband might be an entrepreneur, a bank manager, a doctor, a prominent position, whatever, and you are going through something, but you don't know who to turn to or where the support comes. How do you deal with that? Who is your support? Where do you go for that covering of prayer, that encouragement, that you can do it, girl, you get them, sister, or that pouring into? Because sometimes, we give up so much that we don't even have enough for ourselves. Who do you go to? So we're going to go back in the same order, please. Sister Deanne, Pastor Cleo, and Pastor Olivia and Pastor Cleo.
Well, my first go-to, and she's no longer here, would have been my mother. I could have told my mother anything. She was my number one cheerleader.
But that's all. That's okay. Take your time.
Yeah, and so she was the epitome of a best friend. And along with that, I have, and I mentioned them already, I have a crew.
Yeah.
And it's important to have dimensions in relationships. I watched Tony Evans, his first wife's funeral, and I looked at the program and I was like, we're going to be here for 5 hours. And there was a time when there were 8 women that gave tributes. And I was like, really? Just like a Bahamian funeral. But after they got through speaking, I realized that each one of them brought a different dimension to her relationship. Absolutely. One was her prayer partner, one was her shopping buddy, one was her, and I'm grateful because I have a couple of those girls that I can go to. Some people, some of my family, I can't talk church hurt to because they can come to church and look cross-eyed the people look at them.
Yes, that's it.
So I can't tell them that. That's what mommy did. She had a balance with that. But and if you're listening today, and there must be somebody that you can go to, ask God to help you find that go-to. On the way here, I saw where somebody jumped off the bridge. Absolutely. You have, and I like, I don't know who this is, but I felt personal about that. It's good to have one person. I know sometimes you get betrayed because you tell a secret and it goes out, but ask God to provide that person for you. But I find it's necessary because we carry a lot. We carry a lot. And you can walk around with that on your back and make you miserable, but it's good to be able to have somebody that you can vent. You can vent with. And I'm grateful for those 2 or 3 ladies that I have now that mommy's not here, that allows me to do that and be okay with that.
I love that.
First of all, yes, we want to say condolences to the family of the lady who allegedly jumped off the bridge. And we will remember to keep you, her family, in prayers. Have you heard the saying, every mentor need a mentor?
Yes.
Absolutely. Every pastor need a pastor. So find you a mentor. There are ladies that I would go to. Ladies, remember now, you mentioned that dimensions of persons to be accountable to. Absolutely. And that's what we lack, accountability.
That's it right
there are ladies that we would go to, I would go to, and share different it depends on the issue that determines who I will be given a call to. So there's no one person you give it all to. Let me help you. Don't give one person all, okay? So there are ladies that I would call with issues or concerns or challenges or where I need help. So find you a mentor, find you the mentors that you would need for your life.
Yes.
I love it. I mean, dimensions, I agree 100%. Yeah, the dimensions are critical because, again, you share different things with different people. Not everyone can handle the weight of what it is that you are going through or who it is that you are. And so with the dimensions, I think discernment is critical. We have some people, and I would have said it on a panel that the 3 of us would have been on. We are divulging to vending machines when we really should have vaults that can handle the weight of what it is that we're going through without judgments. Okay, I believe that discernment is critical, and discernment may push you to call on people that you don't ordinarily have relationship with.
Absolutely.
Because sometimes your relationships coddle what needs to be rebuked.
Mm.
Yeah.
Ooh,
So I believe that both of these ladies,
Yeah.
Lady O and Minister D, if I'm in a situation, I can call either one of them.
Yeah.
I can call you
Mhm.
because discernment is critical.
Yes,
Discernment may
yes.
take you to a child.
Yeah.
Discernment can take you to somebody you don't even know.
Yeah.
Discernment can take you to your mom. It can take you anywhere. So I think that is most critical
Yeah.
before we even consider dimensions of what we give to whom. Because sometimes our gauges are off.
Yeah.
We will gauge incorrectly. We will go and bear it all to someone that buys us lunch because they've been kind to you,
Mhm.
and you just put a whole snake in your bosom.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so
child.
it's important, it's critical for us in the position that we're in. Don't think for a minute that the enemy don't want to take you out
Come on.
in the spot that you're in.
Come on.
And the first thing he always uses relationships.
Yes.
Of course.
He didn't come in the garden to Eve as an enemy. He came as a friend.
Yes.
Mhm.
Mhm.
He came as a friend.
Mhm.
And I think discernment is critical for us. For me personally, I have some sisters out there, and I put a little humor in it. One of my friends, I call him my Holy Ghost.
Yeah.
Because I'll post something and she say, get it down. Take it down now. And I know she's listening. I love you, honey. She say, take it down right now. Because she's that to me.
Yeah.
I've trusted her with being honest. And I think that's a part of what we've been denied. A lot of pastors'
Yeah.
wives.
Yeah.
We don't surround ourselves with people who are truth tellers.
Yeah.
Yes.
Truth tellers sometimes ain't gonna make you feel real good.
No.
But you need them in your life. That outfit does not look good. Don't put that on.
Take it off.
Yeah, someone who's gonna be honest.
Yeah.
And we need to empower people around us to do
That's
that.
right.
Yeah.
And I've empowered people who may have only been saved for 2 weeks. I've empowered people to do that for me.
Yeah.
Because discernment says they're the ones that can
Accountability.
carry whatever this is.
I love that. I love that. We're going to take a quick break. And just before the break, let me just remind you all that Valentine's Day, Dairy Queen wants you to make it extra sweet and special. Enter to win a romantic dinner for two, a complimentary makeup session, and a visit to the hair salon. I love that. Just make a purchase of $10 or more at any of Dairy Queen's locations. Write your name on the back of your receipt. Place your receipt into the Eat Your Heart Out box and wait for your name to be announced on February 7th. That's Dairy Queen. Of course, for any information pertaining to this, you can go ahead, and it's actually on the screen now. But for those who are listening via radio or channel 976, you can go onto their social media or go into any of their locations to inquire more about this giveaway. I'm excited for you on February 7th. I can't wait to hear who the winners are. And of course, we're going to announce it on next week's show. Okay? All right. Oh, it's me. Okay, Dessa. You get it. All right, let's take a quick break. Listen, y'all, community out here is so real. Oh, that's my pastor. Discernment and empowerment is paramount. Y'all read these things, man. There's so much. These comments are lit. You know, discernment is a big deal. Yes, it is. We need truth tellers. Yes. See, God don't play when He called these people out. When He called them out, He called them out. All right, and that's what we need now. We don't need well, I can't even just say pastors' wives. We don't need women out there who are just hiding themselves, not being real, not being transparent, and having that facade and thinking that everything is all together and their household is all together, and they born saved.
Yeah. Receiving help requires a level of preparation, though. And we are not trained with that.
Come on.
We're trained to ask for help.
Yeah.
But we're not trained to receive it.
This is Hits 106, Nassau, the Bahamas.
Someone typed me in, and
Wow.
I reached out to her, and again, she's very combative.
Okay. 1 second.
Just while I'm here, no. We need to be trained to receive help. We reject honesty sometimes because it feels like an attack.
Yeah.
Welcome back. For those who are joining us, we get into the juicy part of the show. Excuse me. We get into the juicy part.
Jesus, you're the perfect-
Yeah, this ain't it. That ain't even it. Let me just take a little sip before I ask this question.
Lord Jesus, I better sip too.
Say, take a
My
sip
cup was
now.
empty.
All right. So y'all know good and well, the enemy will always try to send someone to come and test your gangster. I type it just like that. The enemy will always try to come and test your gangster, right? They either talk about the hobby, they talk about your children, or they talk about something that is most valuable or meaningful to you. What do you do when situations like this happen? Let's go, Pastor Olivia.
Okay. When someone come and try test my gangster.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that gangster with an A or an ER?
No, the A at the end, and I typed it just like that. Gangsta. Okay, because we all know we wasn't born saved.
Mercy.
So no, but seriously.
Someone come to test me or talking about my husband
or your children
or my children, and they're trying to get to me by talking about my husband and my children. Girl, I don't pay them no attention at all. At all. You're like, your words ain't moving me. Never will. Like, I'm not checking for you. So, if I respond accordingly, then I'm giving him or her my power. And I'm not about to give you my power. You don't have that level of influence on me for me to turn my power. You don't determine my response for any situation. So I'm not going to give you my power by responding to you. We need to know how to be dignified in those situations. And don't dignify their behavior with a response. So you're not gonna get my attention.
You're not gonna get the attention.
I know my husband, I know my children, and I'm like, my name, the next name is Wise Protector. The next one, not Olivia, that's Wise Protector. So I now know how to cuddle my family and protect my family. So I don't give them attention.
Yeah. When we first started on this journey, a wise lady said to both Tim and I, insulate your family, but don't isolate them. And I've learned to insulate, like the yellow furry stuff that they put in the AC stuff. And I don't want to. I've been accused a lot of being indifferent because I'm unmoved. I don't have time to waste. I'm not going to give you my energy. During COVID, I kind of got a renewal of this thing because you had a lot of time to be at home, a lot of time to pray, and a lot of time to, you couldn't go out. You was in prison all the time. And the Lord revealed to me very quickly that if Olivia or Cleo is doing anything that contravenes the word of God, like to hurt me, like lie and steal and doing crazy stuff, don't get mad at them. It's a spirit. Get mad at the devil that they are allowing to use them and pray for their soul that they don't go to hell. And it could be the bishop at the top of the pulpit, or it could be the usher at the door. If they're doing something crazy and out of whack, they allowing the devil to use, because God isn't going to tell them to do something crazy. So that kind of helped me, get back on track, because I'm a little crazy when it comes to my man, and when it comes to my daughter, and when it comes to my mommy, right? And so Sister D had to learn to become gracious over the years. And I wasn't always where I'm at today, because I will tell you what I'm thinking, and you don't have to even have to guess. I can't thank God for where I'm at now. But I realized that I've given you too much power. I responding to your nonsense when it isn't even gonna. My daddy say, how much money are they gonna give you for that? Nothing. But it's part of the journey, man. There's some people who wake up every morning and they are on assignment
from hell
for Cleo.
From hell.
They're on assignment for Deanne, and they're on assignment for Olivia. And they take their assignment very seriously. And they sit there and they concoct whatever they need to do, because they're on assignment from the devil. But I pray for them, and I laugh, and they be like, oh shit, I'm indifferent to your nonsense.
Sometimes I'm not as dignified as Lady O and be able to and be able to nurture and do all of that. Sometimes I forget the whole insulation thing. Sometimes it's like a 6 hot. However, those same safe spaces that we talked about in the last segment, I use them as venting posts. and I'm able to say how I feel and decompress.
Yes.
If I don't have a safe space to decompress, I'm going to mess that up in the public.
Wow.
Right. So I can take that frustrating, because it is frustrating when you know the heart of someone who's being verbally abused or accused of something falsely. That is absolutely frustrating and very hard to navigate. My safe spaces help me with that. So I can call and tell them who I can bind down and all of that. Mind you, I ain't gonna do it, I just need to decompress. And so they give me my moment. I get my 30 seconds of fame. Yeah. And then they say, okay, you're done? Yeah. Okay, now repent. And then so my safe spaces help me with that. The second thing that helps me with scenarios like that is I take cue from the offended. So if I am at level 6,000 angry over what someone says about Trish, and Trish ain't checking.
What are you checking about?
So why are you
exactly
calm down? Right. And if you know one Valentino Devon Williams, absolutely nothing ruffles his feathers, honey. So while I Berlin, can't sleep, stress right out, pressure going through the roof, he is snoring. Okay. Because things don't bother him what people say, because he knows who he is. And so I took my cue from him. If he's not bothered, then follow suit. I'm not gonna burn down a village that he don't even know exists.
Honest, her testimony is similar to mine. I do have a village as well that I go and I say everything that I need to say and then calm down.
Decompress.
All right. And speaking of our husbands, right? What are some areas in your life that your husbands had to check you on in order to face
Okay,
the
good
world?
night, everybody.
Check you on. Check you. That's what predictions. I did predictions, but I have you all to know. Make sure Pastor Cleo go last. All right, because we know.
Lord,
all right, but I love the transparency. Because I even had to get check on a lot of things, especially with the show.
You'll be surprised. You'll be surprised what my checkpoint is.
What?
You'll be surprised.
Come on, can't wait. Let's go. Pastor Olivia, we go with you first.
Oh, Lord.
What do you have to check you up on now? You thinking, okay, so let's ask.
Yeah, I'm thinking.
Minister D.
My outspokenness. Yeah, and that was something I said earlier. I had to grow and become more gracious. And he would say, D, no, that, and so he would, and I thank God for that because, he helped me to mature and develop in that area because it was something that I needed to improve on. God is still helping me, but I have the gift of gab, and I do it very liberally, and so the Holy Spirit helps me to get it right in the right place at the right time. That's wisdom, and that's in what the anointing would do. But yeah, he'll say that sometime, and then always wanting to shop.
Listen to me. I'm sure he doesn't mind me sharing this, right? So last year, one of our media houses was on the scene of a murder scene. And, there are two scenarios that I want to share, but this one I think is most meaningful, where some people were saying some things and they typed some information on the live. And I went and I wasn't thinking because it pressed my buttons a little. Mm-hmm. And so I started to type back on the live. And I press enter properly and I get a text, delete it. That's it, delete it. So I had to go and wait or at least try to stroll back because every time I tried to stroll back, it was coming back to the right. Yeah. So I had to wait till the live was finished to try to delete what my message was to respond to the individual who said something about not necessarily him, but the area that he had or whatever. So I have to be mindful. So my check-in, when he checks on me, hey, be mindful of what you type out there. Be mindful of what you put on social media. You understand? So there are some things that even I have to be considerate about because of the role of my husband. So just giving Pastor Olivia some time to think. You ready?
Yeah, I think for me, it's more so to just be you all the time in any situation. Just be you. So, I mean, for me, that's pretty much it. Like you can, I know you're here. You can help me if it's more than that. But that's just it. Just be you.
Just be you.
Yeah.
Mine.
Dun, dun, dun.
No, I'm telling
it's
you,
good?
it's gonna surprise you. My checkpoint from my good one decent apostle, bishop, man of God.
Yes.
is over helping people
Ooh.
and not letting rock bottom be the teacher.
Wow.
Just this week, someone asked me for something. They were in a tight spot, and he says, and of course I had to do some stuff through him. And so he says, mind you, sometimes rock bottom is the teacher, and you're standing in the way of them getting the lesson of rock
That's
bottom.
powerful.
And that's my checkpoint from him.
Wow.
Contrary to popular belief, most things that I post, say, or do, I get clearance from him first. I tell you, people judge 20 minutes and think that that's a hot think that I am. No. And they look at his quiet demeanor and feel as if, no, ma'am. No, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. When I post, I remember I did a post on church hurt one time, a whole lot thing, blah, blah, blah. I woke up and I told him, I said, I'm feeling led to do X, Y, Z. What do you think about it? Yes.
Lord, I thank
So
you.
these
for
things don't come as a
husbands.
surprise to him. He's fully aware and fully endorsed.
Allow people to learn. Allow people to hit rock bottom first.
Yeah.
'Cause
Let
we-
rock bottom be the
we're
teacher. Because I
nurturing by
overhelp.
nature.
Oh, and I hate to see
Yeah.
anyone call and say, if Pastor Cleo, I need blah blah blah.
Yeah.
If you said, oh, I need these shoes, I'm gonna go home bare feet and give you these, and then he'll be looking like,
Miss.
where your shoes? Where your things?
Okay. All right, ladies. Y'all.
I know you didn't think it. That was it.
I did not think that was.
I told you.
To
You'd be
be honest,
surprised.
I thought it was, you might be telling people off.
No.
And in a nice way, though.
Yeah.
The dignified way. Man, get it together.
I've been cursed and blessed with candor.
Candor.
Yes.
Now,
Whatever that face was.
this is the question for the date, right? This could take all us home. In your role as a pastor's wife, you may encounter situations where individuals express interest in your husband. Dun dun dun. Yeah, we going there.
Anybody in the world that brave express
we going
interest?
there,
You mean express or
Of course.
We're
express
going
interest?
there. Hold on, we can go there. How do you personally handle these moments? And are there any insights or experiences you could share on maintaining healthy boundaries? Who's going
Very
first?
good question, Olivia.
Of course.
Now they may not express it to you, but you may see
Or
things.
show
You may
signs of
show
show signs of getting
of
foppish.
tell your
My grandma used to say
husband.
foppish.
Friend to your
Getting too
husband.
foppish.
Yes.
You know what foppish mean?
No.
You say, yeah, see you
Tell
will
us.
really.
Tell us.
Foppish mean fresh and fast. Yeah. Foppish.
Foppish. That's
course.
our new word. Go ahead.
So of course women come through the door. Women are women.
They will always be with
Yeah.
Regardless of where you are,
Mm-mm.
women are women. And we've understood that a lot of women aren't really attracted to your husband. But
Even
it's
though
that
all three of them are
anointing.
fine looking now.
Yeah, very, very,
All
very,
right, then.
very,
All right.
very,
Mhm.
very,
Very
yeah,
handsome
very.
pot.
bad.
Take a bride now. Bride will take a shot.
God
Right.
bless me so good.
Oh, he's so kind. He's
So,
gracious.
he's very gracious to me.
Oh, y'all tree.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm a very good husband. Hallelujah.
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 Yes.
So yeah, women, we've been there where women would come and express their interest in him. And we've also had women who would share, I came here for him.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, they brazen.
Testify that I came here for him. Mind you, women come through the door hurting with all these women off the street that are coming in.
Yeah.
So, and this is the life that they've been living.
Yeah.
So
That's all they know.
yeah, so they come and they would testify, when I came here, I came for him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, thinking I would get him. But that's not what I got. I got what I needed. I
All
didn't
right.
get what I wanted. I got
All
what I
right.
needed.
Wow.
But at the same time, back to our first question
Mm-hmm.
of being a pastor's wife.
Yeah.
You have to love people,
People.
regardless of their motive.
That's good.
God requires you to love people. And no matter how they come for or think they come for your husband, first of all, My response to that is always going to be my responsibility.
Come on.
Your response
That's
is
good.
always your responsibility. Secondly, what you came for isn't moving me. It's my husband's response
Ooh,
that's going to
oh, that's
determine
good,
lady.
what happened.
That's
It's
good.
his response
Yeah,
to
yeah.
this woman coming here for you.
Come on.
So we can't spend time watching her while we are watching her, because we are aware of the devil's devices.
Yes.
While we see you, we may not always let you know we see you.
Yes.
There are times you may have to say, I see you, but his response should always be what you are most interested in. And if his response is just, let's pray for this lady, pray for this lady. Don't push her on him. Don't beat your husband by her reaction or her desire or her coming
That's so
and
good.
wanting to touch you or wanting to be. We stood at the door. I'm on the right, he's on the left, and the lady passed through the door and she said, oh, Apostle, you have to come for me to give you a facial. I'm
You
right
standing
here.
right there.
I'm right here. His response was, give it to her. See, you talked about church hurt, and that's a whole different conversation.
Whole different
Because
conversation.
a lot of things we as pastors' wives call church hurt. Ain't church hurt.
Come
Our
on.
husband
Come on.
behavior, our husband's behavior hurt us.
Yes.
And we're beating the church with it. But it's
Absolutely.
not, that's the next segment.
Yes,
it's
that's a
not
whole
church
different
hurt.
thing.
It's no.
Or
Asking
even
all
their
questions,
naivety.
eh?
They're
Yeah,
very
this is
naive
what I
and
think.
thinking everybody come for God.
Yes,
Yeah.
So it's something about what happened or the behavior, but the people didn't do you anything, or not the majority. This is one or two ladies that are out of place, out of character, or
Jesus.
don't know who they are and what you're about. So don't be moved
That's so
by
good.
her reaction. Notice it. Don't be silly. Don't ignore it.
No,
Notice it, but don't allow her action to determine your response.
Absolutely.
that was so
Keep
beautiful.
your eyes on him.
Keep your eyes on him.
Mhm.
My God.
Tag, you're it.
We started talking about the garden
Yes.
and how my responsibility is to be Asa,
Yes.
helping with that garden. Well, good farmers identify bad seed.
Ah.
Come on.
So Bishop shared this morning about seed time and harvest.
Yes.
Mhm.
And everything is a seed. And I've mastered the art of, in my silence, sometimes in my seed, catching seeds. So I know when your walk to the offering basket is a seed.
Hello.
And right in the realm of the spirit with my nice smile, I'm shutting that seed right down, honey.
Come on.
That don't ever bring forth nothing.
Mhm.
So you could set appointments to come and see the good bishop. And sometimes our husbands are so focused
Yeah.
on what it is that they're doing, the vision. They're so compassionate as pastors. They miss certain signals
Yeah.
that we as women
We
pick up
deserve
on
Yes, that's
immediately.
right.
Immediately.
Because we know us.
Yeah.
We know us.
Yeah.
And so digging up seeds and ensuring that everything is conversational
Mhm.
and making sure that there is no crack. Like Lady O said, my response is my responsibility.
Yeah.
If I am neglecting to give words of affirmation to my husband, then the lady that comes into the church and tells him how wonderful he's speaking, seed. Tell him how good he looks this Sunday, seed. Meanwhile, I didn't even want iron his shirt.
Come on.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And
then-
you're so
and-
mad at her.
Okay,
comments.
okay. Lady is coming in and bringing Sunday dinner, and this is something that he desired, but I wasn't doing.
Yeah.
So I have a responsibility to even be honest with the attraction, because I believe these are indicators of where there needs to be some work with building boundaries. Yeah, and that comes with the honest conversation. If my husband is moved by someone's compliment, that's an indicator for me of where I need to step up.
Yeah.
Come on.
It's an indicator.
Yeah.
And then, and I think we have that kind of responsibility. Be open and create an atmosphere where our husbands can come home and say, girl, you wouldn't believe the kind of day I had.
That's
Yeah.
right.
I remember
That's
the
right.
bishop had a meeting a couple of years ago with this particular lady, and she came, and some of the things she said, he tell her, give me 1 minute, I'll be right back. And he went in the other office. He said, girl, you're not praying for me today.
No.
And so, but we've created this atmosphere
Yeah.
where we can be conversational about these things.
Yeah.
Have these conversations.
Yeah.
Say, for example, I go to sleep at night and dream about one of the brothers in church in a strange way.
Yeah.
Wake up and have a conversation, because it's a seed.
Mhm.
Mhm.
All of a sudden, that dream is planted.
Mhm.
You see the fella walk past, he compliments you, male or female, because in this era, listen to me,
Hello.
brassy and foppish knows no gender.
I know, right?
Oh
Remember,
no,
that's our
I
word,
mustn't
fuck
say
it.
that.
Yeah.
I mustn't say that
Yeah.
age.
No, you
Oh,
can.
so, okay, it knows
Good.
no gender.
Yeah.
Some people come to the church, male and female,
Yeah.
created he them. They go to the house of the Lord. But we have a responsibility to cultivate an atmosphere in our homes, in our marriages, where we can have open conversation.
Yes.
They're pastors, but they're human.
Yes.
They're pastors, but they're men.
Yes.
And it's important. The same way you can have someone on the job showing interest, it's going to happen in the church. Not everyone that comes to church is spiritual.
That's right.
Some people are carnal.
That's
But
right.
lighten the mood, have the conversation, and create an atmosphere where we can be open and honest with each other.
Amen.
I feel like so and so is giving you too much attention. I don't like X, Y, Z. And out of the respect that we have for each other, we behave in kind.
I love that.
For
I love
real.
that so
For
much.
real.
We're actually going to wrap up on this side for the radio portion. We're going to continue. So for our viewers on Facebook, don't. Just because we're disconnecting from the radio doesn't mean that we're disconnecting here. So just give us a quick minute just to wrap up on the radio portion. If you need coaching in any area of your life, including premarital coaching, knowing how to restore your marriage, how to stand for your marriage, even when you feel abandoned, on how to build a relationship. All right. Please go to my website, www.yourlanelifecoaching.com, and schedule a booking. I would love to help you to improve your life and your relationship. All right. So next week's show, we're going to have episode 87, Teach Me How to Fight for My Marriage, part 3. This is going to be so good. This is an international marriage mentor, Tanya Shupis. You can go ahead and look her up. And in the meantime, TANIASCHUPPIUS. I don't even know if I pronounced that right, but I hope I get it right before next week. But she's going to be on board, and she's going to be teaching women, how to stand, how to fight, how to pray for your marriage. And thank you for our radio listeners, Channel 976 listeners on cable. Thank you for those who've been tuning in via those platforms. The show is brought to you by the Perfume Bar, John Shoe Store and Accessories, Your Lane Life Coaching, Fabulous Ronnie Hair Restoration Clinic, Mac Joe's Cookies, Treats and Sweets, and Dairy Queen Bahamas. Make this Valentine's Day extra sweet with Dairy Queen. Enter to win a romantic dinner for 2, a complimentary makeup session, and a visit to the hair salon. Just make a purchase of $10 or more at any of Dairy Queen locations. Write your name on the back of your receipt. Place your receipt into the Eat Your Heart Out box and wait for your name to be announced on February 7th. We're actually going to announce it again on next week's Sunday show, okay? And to those businesses who've been tuning in and love what you've been hearing so far on Your Lane Talk Show, I want you to know that Your Lane is looking for new sponsors. So, of course, you can go ahead and call this number, 376-8689, if you would like to sponsor the show. We have awesome packages available to suit your budget. All right. So thank you so much for our radio listeners. We're going to see you next week, God's willing. I pray that you were all empowered, encouraged, and educated today. We're going to have a part 2. I don't know how, because to get these three ladies in here at the same time is a miracle. Trust me when I say that. Okay. But we're going to try a part 2, but we're going to ask as we got about a few minutes for the Facebook portion. And so we're going to ask a few more questions from Facebook. So Facebook, y'all got a little privilege for those on the radio. Come on to Your Lane Talk Show on Facebook so that you can hear the remainder of our questions before we hit the road today. All right. So blessings and happy Sunday to our radio listeners. Blessings. All right, ladies. So let's wrap it up with you all. And this is so powerful. There's so many questions to ask. I'm trying to find a really good one so we could wrap up on that one. But let's all were really good,
Yeah,
right?
you
All
pulling.
were
You
really,
are
really
pulling.
good.
You are
Right.
definitely
Let's talk about self-care. How do you prioritize self-care? Ensure that you are nurturing yourself, because I think we spoke about this, where of course you have your village, you have your the people who hold you accountable, right? Accountability partners. But what about me time? How important is that for you? How important is that for pastors' wives to have me time? Not the husband, not the children, not the ministry, not the community, me. Let's start.
absolutely vital. And I'm unapologetic, especially when I was in a season where I was the octopus, arms
Come on.
flapping. Yeah. And so me time for me is scheduled. It has to be, because otherwise I just get caught up. And I think it's refreshing, it's renewing. And me time can be whatever it is. For me, sometimes it's just going to the beach and watching the waves. Because I think for me, water is therapeutic.
Star 106.5, the best mix of today's hits and old school favorites.
Necessary that you refresh, like you refresh your computer screen, you refresh, because of all that comes at us on a daily, weekly, monthly, nightly basis. We need to be refreshed. And so and do it without having to make apologies.
Agreed. Me time is very, very important. For me, though, it's not scheduled enough. It's not, no, in fact, it's only last year I determined that I would put me on my agenda.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just last year.
Just last year. Just last year, I realized I had to put me on my agenda because
what got you to that point?
just being being very, very wary. And again, back to juggling, the ball was falling.
Come on.
You know, and also it's very natural for us to take care of everybody else and neglect ourselves. That's the natural thing with women in general, wives in general. So to put me on my agenda is pretty new for me. So last year was great in my giving me some attention.
Yes.
So for this year and for me, it's going to be more than you. I may get the day, it's not scheduled. No, as yet, but I have trips scheduled for me. Yeah, where I get my time away, because I find that it's not very easy for me to be here.
Yeah.
And or because the calls are going
And
to
focus
come.
on you.
And for me, so
Definitely
I'm
not here.
off. I'm off and I'm enjoying. That's me. Yeah. No.
Wow.
And that's me. So it's gonna come different for us, but that's what I find that I have to
That
do.
works best for you.
That works very, very well for me. So
Awesome.
yeah.
I don't know if I recognize me time as a necessity. That may be a dysfunction. I don't know it. I'm already an intro extrovert. People think that I'm strictly extroverted. I'm not.
Look at me. Say that again.
I'm an intro extrovert.
Because I go ahead.
I know how to flip between the two.
Okay.
So when I'm on a pulpit, in the church, around people, I can master that.
Okay.
I can communicate. I can entertain. I can be humorous. I can be empathetic. I can do that.
Yeah.
But the lion's share of my time, I'm by myself. Yeah. I choose. I'm in my house. I'm by myself. I don't do the out and about all the time, and it's because I reboot from the moments when I am outside and having to do that. And so I've never had that feeling of, I need to have alone time. I don't think I would do well. I don't think my personality type will do well with solo. And I'll explain why.
Okay.
I can imagine myself on a trip by myself. That'll drive me nuts. First of all, I'm directionally challenged. So unless I can stay in the hotel room all day,
I'm not alone.
Oh,
my husband always.
But see, but
that's me time.
Now, if we calling that me time, then great. I do that.
That's me time for me.
That's okay.
Because me need he.
Listen, y'all.
Me that have to be we.
No,
that's me. That's me time.
I can't with y'all.
But I don't recognize. I don't recognize the having to be alone. It may be because my kids are grown.
Yes.
I don't have small children. And I'm trying to think back in seasons when my children were younger. I would need, I guess, that escape from the smaller babies. My children are adults. My baby's 13, and 3D. We see her when we call for her. She's in her quarters, in her space, doing her thing. And so this is I don't know it.
You don't need it.
I know it's necessary for some people. I think what I want to say to that is you need to be your best self to make faith attractive for the people that's watching you. And if being your best self to represent faith well means having you time and
Go
being
ahead,
alone, do what's necessary
Yeah.
for your, not just your survival, but for you to thrive. For me, you could give me a Netflix series and I am Gucci.
You're
honey.
good.
Yes,
All right.
you would.
Yeah, I'm good.
You spend most of your time alone.
I do.
Well, she's having her me time.
I do.
then.
Yeah.
So that's her me time.
Yeah.
But Pastor Olivia said
Mhm.
her me time is with her husband. I can't.
Did you know that
I
Valvoline's
doubt
Max
it.
Life not only
Whatever
protects
works,
against
that's
friction,
what
but
works.
also
And
leaks,
that's fine.
deposits, and sludge? The 4 major causes of high mileage engine breakdown. Long live your car. Max Life is the first lubricant specially formulated to protect the engine of your high mileage vehicle. Visit us today and see our full line of Valvoline lubricants, chemicals, and antifreeze coolants, distributed by Battery and Tire Specialists, located 7th Terrace, Centerville.
Because you have some brassy ones out there too. And someone husband was talking, and the people say, and the people say, "Oh, I could watch this live any day. I could rewind this after this. Who this handsome fella is, and he's smart too." And da, 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 da. So it's me. I can admit it. All right. So I gone through each one of their profile as who they were. All right. Yeah, I'm the stalking type. Yes, I would do it. And I just gone through each one and say, hold on, okay, that's how you look. Okay, she have potential. And then I gone through each one and that I have to break out of that.
Yeah.
All right. I had to break out of that and realize that hey, it just like how y'all are bragging, but your husband and they fine, ain't nothing you gonna do with that. You cannot do anything about that. You can't fight nobody out there just because they are attractive.
And there will always be someone prettier.
And there will
someone
also be
smarter.
someone
Someone that shapes better. Someone with more money.
More
always.
intellect.
What are you going to do about
but you have to know
build your
you
self-esteem
and build who
My
you
Holy
are.
Ghost just told me it's ambivert. I told y'all I got a Holy Ghost. Just tell me, take things out. She said it's ambivert, noun, and I see the definition. Scroll into my phone. So it's ambivert. It's not an intro extrovert. It's ambivert.
Okay, y'all taking notes?
I need
Put that in
people
the
like
note,
that.
please.
See, you need people like that in your life.
Yes,
Who's gonna help you fix things?
that I love that. So don't be like a Trishawn, all right? Going stalking other people just because they think your man fine or whatever. Just do what you got to do. I like what it was one of you who made the statement. Make sure your house in order.
Yeah.
So you don't got to worry about what
those
seeing those things.
Yeah.
Make sure you're cooking. Make sure you're taking care of your husband. Make sure you giving them everything that they need. Everything that they need. So there's no reason.
And identify your crave too.
Come on.
Sometimes we hide our crave behind not wanting to look weak.
Come, you see what show we on? And we off the air too?
Yeah. You can't hide that crave. And like you say, sometimes you'll go and you used to be the stalking type and you'll go through and blah, 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 blah. You may need to say that to him. And it means that he perhaps needs to do more. And this is for any husband out there, for a woman who may be craving that validation and that assurance that you're the one I want.
Yeah.
Sometimes we think that we're only the one they need. And every now and again, they need to speak with the microphone on, amplified level 10, to say, you're the one that I want, not just need. That's an important. Man. And so sometimes we have to arm our men, whether they're pastor or whomever they are. We need to arm our men with what it is that we crave. Don't hide those craves. You hide them. Anything that's hidden is the devil's playground.
Come on. That's it right there. Now y'all ready? We off air, right? Real quick, right?
Drop that Christmas music on Star 106 Hit.
My hair red, honey.
The word on the street say pastors' wives are the dry ones who just do missionary position, and that's how they go. And they still wear the little old the dusted clothes because y'all ain't supposed to be wearing no lingerie. Because
who said that obviously don't know who a pastor
that's why y'all come to correct. Okay, so because y'all ain't supposed to be wearing lingerie. And y'all ain't supposed to be having all these different things and doing these things. So, so I need you to correct the people. All right. So how should we conduct? Well, because I know Pastor White, but how do pastors' wives supposed to conduct themselves in the bedroom?
Like a wife.
There is no blueprint, but I'm gonna tell you, whatever he needs, you give it to him. All right. And as he needs it, as often as he needs it, and make sure you getting satisfied as well.
I was about to say, what about when I need?
When you get satisfied as
when he
well.
need.
It's a mutual arrangement and you work at it. I'm going to tell you, after 27 years,
why your tone changed?
quick. It gets better and it gets better and it gets better as you age. And because we have empty nest now because mama's gone to heaven and my girl is in university. And so we have the house to ourselves. It's a new, we're back to Eden. And you know what in Eden, they didn't even wear clothes. I tell them my laundry, I don't use as much powder anymore because I don't wash as much clothes anymore.
What you need clothes for?
What you need time?
They need motivation. You see these men on the pulpit on the Sunday. What do you think they getting that?
That's for sure.
Motivation.
Oh, that's why the pictures be so high on the Sunday mornings.
I tell them. Yes, listen.
Right, that's where you practice.
When you see a man can get up there and preach, preach under the anointing, you know he getting it right.
Okay.
Yeah, he getting it right. Yeah. And what has happened is be like, they go into another phase after they get to preaching like that. Listen.
Jesus.
So while he's preaching and he's doing all that beating, you have your stuff going through your mind.
Lustful.
Right?
That's all right. Jesus.
You imagine something else.
Lustful.
But that's okay. But that's yours.
Okay. That's
it
my
yours.
husband.
It's yours.
That's yours. Yeah.
There you go.
But again, it should not be a difference between
a wife,
pastor's wife. Intimacy and regular husband and wife intimacy.
Yeah, but
you can't measure dryness by my relationship with God and what I do in the
Lord.
Lord.
They measure dryness by their relationship with their husbands when they make comments like that. And the young ladies at church, they'd be like, "Oh, Sister D, you wrong." I'm like, no, I want you to know it's okay to have something to look forward to. The world out there, those girls are having sexual relationships and they're not married. When you get married, there is no limitation. There's no box to put yourself in. That's your husband. Learn to have an exciting sex life.
Come on.
Work on it. Tell him what, we were in a women's conference one time and the lady said for 17 years, her husband never seen her naked. Because whenever they made love, it was in the dark. Another one said he would ride her leg. And she hated it, but she never said it because her mother said, you do whatever. And so we taught them, talk to your husband.
Siri,
tell him.
Ride her leg.
Look at her for me, because I don't know what that means. I don't know.
So tell him.
Listen.
And I think Cleo talked about it earlier about being comfortable, having that conversation with your husband. You need to be able to talk to him about whatever it is.
Yeah.
That, and whether you're talking about the finances or you're talking about what's for grocery, whatever, the same thing with your sex life.
Conversation.
And if you, work on it, develop it, and be okay. Yeah. Be okay, man, because guess what? She asked me about lusting while he preaching. There's some other women lusting while he preaching, but I know at the end of the day,
that's it right there.
You know something?
All right.
You know something? There are some people who say, pastors' wives, they assume that they may be dry in bed because they don't divulge
Somebody say that
in a perverted manner what it is that's happening. Yes. And some people don't ask these kinds of questions because they want to learn.
Yeah. Well,
they
you
ask
know I'm pretty easy to find. Just look for me wherever you see. Go wherever you go. I go wherever you go.
What do you really want to know? What should be the interest is how to see who you got on. Not measure what's happening in my house. That's private.
In your head, cause I'm not in your bed. You just imagine. They dreaming about me, but trying to be.
Well, so now we've discovered those who are watching.
Taste of your thoughts, I can't wait to say. Somebody say that your boyfriend's looking for me.
Just because you
And there's a private and dry.
Okay.
Well, you should know I'm pretty easy to find. Just look for me wherever he sees you. Somebody say that your boyfriend's looking for me.
All right.
That's cool, yeah. If he could find a way to get in your mind, say he want me, that's all that he gotta do. Go wherever you go.
If that's what you need.
I go wherever you go. I try my best not to be all in your phone, but I know that's not what you want. Might as well keep some pictures of the two of us in your home. When you slow dance by yourself, I'm right behind you. Yeah, spray my fragrance on your skin. It will remind you of the times we linked up and the nights we dreamed of. Girl. Somebody said that your boyfriend is looking for
Okay, can y'all hear us now?
and that's cool. That's cool, yeah. Well, you should know I'm pretty easy to find. Just look for me wherever he sees you. Somebody said that your boyfriend was looking for me. That's cool, yeah. If he can find a way to get in your mind, say he won't be, that's all that you gotta do. I go wherever you go. I go wherever you go. I go wherever you go. Wherever you go. If he could find a way, cause I only right here, honestly, all the time. I live in your mind. I go wherever you go.
I can't go on and tell you end this one because that's actually my